Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring me love.
Hi, welcome to Hit the Bar, the first of what we hope is going to be a regular fans panel for Morecambe Football Club. If you do enjoy it, please hit subscribe and remember to join us weekly. We're going to try and put it out every Wednesday if we can, fairly soon after we've made the recording. As this is the first one, we're going to look back a little bit at the season so far and before the season, really. Pre-season and end of last season, we got relegated, as we all know, from League One for a couple of seasons. The heady heights of playing the likes of Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday every week. And we lost the bulk of our squad. So I'm going to go around and just ask you, we've got Tarnia here and James and Finlay, and do offer to get involved. We've got a fans panel, Facebook page, Morecambe Football Club. Get on that and just say if you want to come and get involved. Anybody can. Before the start of the season, with what we'd gone through, relegation, losing the squad, having to get a squad in really quickly, what were your expectations realistically, Tarnia, for this coming season?
Yeah, I think looking back, you try and put yourself back to how you were feeling. We made the trip down to Exeter, we lost, we saw the squad disappear throughout the summer. I think the expectation for me at the start of the season was, let's just survive, let's just be back in League Two, fairly comfortable, but bottom half probably, because we haven't got any players. Do we have five? I think we were left with five maybe. So the expectation at the start of the season, I think especially with the wage issues within the club, it didn't feel great, but I felt confident we could survive in League Two, but I don't think it was anything more than I think we can survive this. I don't know if you're going to ask me in a minute how I feel now, but I think that's definitely
We'll come on to that a little bit later. I mean, is that a common theme, or were people actually thinking, no, I still think we can in League Two, I still think we're a big enough club to manage comfortably. Was anybody thinking like that?
I was still fairly optimistic then, to be honest, because obviously we managed to keep hold of Derek Adams. We were lucky that there was a year extension, an option to extend in his contract, and we've taken him up on that. And he's a very good League Two manager. We still have Greg Strong, head of recruitment. So at the start of the season, we were left with 6 players, but we look at those 6 players that were left there, it was pretty much our entire back four.
Yeah. I think that's a point. I mean, I'm same as you. I was sort of thinking it's going to be tough, and fourth from bottom I'd be happy with that in your first, and then try and rebuild from there. But yeah, it's a good point you make. It's a bit of a foundation, isn't it, for anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah. So like the centre half pairing that we had in League One, mainly Bedeau and Rawson, was still there. So whilst I did sort of feel similar, well, I would be happy with staying up, and you could see with the issues that were going on that it would probably be a scrap. We've certainly exceeded the expectations of us all, I think. And I would still be happy with a mid-table finish, because it's seasons. But sometimes it can start well, and then after Christmas it can go downhill, or it can be the other way around. And to be honest, when it comes to the league, you put a few results together, you can shoot way up the table. Just look at what's happened with Middlesbrough in the Championship.
Finn, you're the youngest member of the panel. Thanks for coming on at short notice. We had an injury in the warm up, so Finn's stepping in as a late substitute. Thanks for that. But same with you again. Were you looking at this season, obviously optimistically from a young person who's seen us doing really well, but did you think we would actually do as well as we are doing?
I did think coming into the season, after the troubles we had and everything like that, I thought stay up this season. That's the goal. And anything more than that would obviously be delightful. Mid-table would have been great. And obviously the way we're pushing on now, it's fantastic, and I think everyone should be looking at them playoff spots. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're looking at the games in hand that we've got through the games that we've missed on the international break, and you're sort of looking at you, and you're adding the points because of how we're playing. You're adding the points, and you're looking where we could be. And I think I'm right in saying if we win those games, second. You know, if nobody else was to play a game and we win those 2 games, which is how it levels up over a season, we're second. You know, and I don't think any of us were thinking that we'd do that well that early.
No, certainly, but I think James has made a good point there. We were really lucky to get Derek for another year, and sometimes I think we rest on our laurels that he's so good at doing this. He's so good at having no money and picking those players that he can get on short-term loans or whatever it might be. And he's proven it. He's proven it again, hasn't he? That he can do a lot with a little. Yeah. And it's exciting. I think it makes it more exciting that we've had this very little expectation, and now we're in this position where games in hand we could be second. Yeah. And we didn't expect it. I think actually if we'd gone into this season expecting something, you're then like, oh, we're 8th. Whereas now, if we survive relegation, we're happy and we're just enjoying it.
It's a good point, because I think, you know, most fans are realistic, and most fans have been with Morecambe long enough to realise that, you know, we can't guarantee to be anywhere in the league, and everything we get is because we've worked hard. And you've got to say it's a bonus to be where we are. I remember after the Notts County draw at home, I think it was Beyond Radio who put something on saying excellent draw, and there was a couple of fans saying, how can you say that's an excellent draw at home against a team that's just been promoted from non-league? And I'm like, hang on a minute, this is Notts County we're talking about, the oldest club in the world or whatever. And there was 1 or 2 even then saying we should get rid of the manager because we've only drawn against Notts County at home. And I think you're right when you say we didn't have a manager at the end of last season. There's only one person who could come and say, right, on my CV, I've promoted 2 teams from League 2, one of them being yours.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, he was obviously the man that most of us wanted to get us up there. But James, have you been surprised by the way he's sort of arranged a new squad with so many young players? And I'm not saying we've necessarily hit the ground running immediately, but we've done it pretty quickly, haven't we? You know, in the early part of the season.
Yeah, well, with the fact that we're, you know, at first, obviously, when it came to during the summer, they were talking about a break-even budget, and then Bond Group put out a statement saying that they were going to put, you know, the highest budget that we've ever had in League 2, but even so, that was going to be the lowest budget.
Isn't it? It was clever worded, that.
It was. But like looking at it, you didn't know what he was going to recruit, how he was going to do it. But I think it's worked to our advantage that we've got a lot of young players in the side. They're eager to impress. They've got the years ahead of them. You know, people like Michael Mellon, who obviously was sort of chucked into the deep end a bit for us in League 1 last year, but he's just embraced League 2 and done so well. And then JJ McKeon, a very highly rated youngster that's come in, again, eager, and he scored our first hat-trick in 10 years since Kevin Ellison did his hat-trick against AFC Wimbledon back in 2012. So over 10 years that is. So you just look at who's come in, and just going back to my earlier point as well about the players we kept, Adam Mayer was doing ever so well in League 1, and you just think, well, what's he going to be like in League 2? Again, doing brilliantly, one of our key players. Good. It's just absolutely brilliant to see, and to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. No.
It's enjoyable football though as well, isn't it? I don't know about you guys and you, Glenn, but it's bloody fun to watch. It's really great, exciting football, which I think you get with the pace of youth. You know, you get that pass to Joel Senior, Tom Bloxham to Mickey Mellon, and the game can change like that. And as a fan, that's the football you want to be seeing.
Finn, on that point, what have been the sort of standouts for you in the early part of the season, either games or players or anything like that?
Like Tarnia just said, it's that attacking speed. I'm sure most of us have seen that stat on Twitter that went around that we were the fastest counter-attacking side in the whole of Europe. You know, it's just that quick. You know, it's the.
Of course we were. What do you expect?
And
just Europe.
That front three is they're all the same age as me. I watch them every week. It's mind blowing what they're doing. and how well they're doing it.
Yeah.
I think we've got to remember as well, it's a very different League Two to when we got promoted.
It is, yeah.
We've got some big teams back in there.
And teams with money as well, isn't it? Yeah.
So your Wrexhams, Notts Counties, Stockport,
Yeah.
and then coming down as well, Milton Keynes, who always throw a bit of money at it. Aki, who always do well. So to be up there like we are, and competing against these teams is really, really good.
And from the start of the season, the home form has been really good. The crowds have been good as well. I mean, I think that might have surprised a few people. You're thinking going down a league when it's kind of built up because we've had the success and been in a upward momentum. You kind of thought maybe if we drop down, a few of those who've come because we've got promoted might just drop off, and it's not really happened, has it? There's been still that spirit there and still that enthusiasm for the town, from the town, isn't there?
I think so, yeah. And most importantly is the away results that have probably put us up there.
Yeah.
Our home form was always good in League
Yeah.
One. And to have 3 away wins on the bounce since we got promoted,
Because that's the worry, isn't it? You know, if you're getting the results at home, not getting the results away, one of those things is going to change over the season. You're just hoping it's not the home form that changes, and it hasn't been, has it? We've been brilliant away. I mean, you were at Sutton on Saturday.
Brilliant.
It was just a different kind of proposition, different kind of opposition.
Yeah.
But they coped with it really well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and I think that's going to be the difference at the end of the season, which we perhaps didn't have last year. That we're drawing 2-2. The game could have ended at that point, but we nick a winner in the last minute. The same with the match last night against Tranmere. Last season, that would have probably been us scoring an own goal in our end, but actually we got that bit of luck from a quality ball in, and it's those games that are going to make a difference. I think the point you made about the support, I think there's got to be a nod to the club and the way that they're engaging with the fans. I think the price of the season tickets, like as a family woman with 2 kids, we can afford 2 season tickets and 2 kids season tickets comfortably, knowing that we're going to go and see decent football with our community, and that's so impressive.
Well, I know people who, have in the past have maybe come down for 3 or 4 games in a season, and since they've given the decent season ticket prices, they've come down for 1 or 2 early on, and then gone straight and bought them because they thought, this has got to be worth that, the 150 quid or whatever it was at the start.
20 quid a piece for a match. If you buy a season ticket, it's a no-brainer. It's the same cost of what?
And then you're retaining
them,
which is proven. So we've gone over the last few games. We're excited by the performances of the young players. We have now, though, got a few suspensions, a few injuries. Going into the Barrow and Wimbledon games, how do you think that's going to affect us? Wimbledon Saturday and then Barrow next Tuesday, James?
Well, I think what we showed yesterday was that we've got, despite the fact that we've got a small squad, we've got strength in depth. Chris Stokes comes into the side yesterday,
well, didn't he?
having not played really all season, other than in the EFL Trophy, and he had a really good game.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be on Saturday a centre half pairing of Chris Stokes and Jan Songo, because Bordeaux's also suspended after his booking yesterday. Now, Bordeaux did have to make that tackle, to be honest.
It was
He was free otherwise.
But looking at it, it's going to be a much changed team. We could see Davenport come into it. Hopefully, Donald Love will be I
think it was a cut on the top of his foot more than a sort of bad injury, wasn't it? So he might be.
So fingers crossed, and maybe Rawson could be back as well. We don't know, but the sad thing is that it looks like Stuart Moore's going to be out for some time. But yeah, I mean, Wimbledon's going to be another tough test.
Funny team because they're really good. They're really good away, but not so good at home. But obviously they're playing us away for them. So
yeah. And they're in 10th at the moment, so they've had an okay start to the season. They did obviously lose to Accrington yesterday, but it will be tough. It will probably be tougher because of the suspensions and the injuries. But I'm ever the optimist. I like to be positive. I'm still optimistic. And then as for Barrow on Tuesday, I'm buzzing for it. Absolutely buzzing.
Are we all going to that one?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, Finn. All your mates going up that one?
Yeah.
Behave yourselves.
Of course.
How do you see him going though? With like we're saying, with the injuries, suspension. Do you think we're still going there with optimism?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of glad that we've got all these suspensions for the Wimbledon game. I think if we go to Barrow away, who have had a good start to the season, they haven't lost at home yet, and we beat them on their own patch.
Yeah.
I think that lays down a real marker.
Yeah.
And I think we can really kick on from that.
Yeah. Because you're then showing that it's not down to that 11, the first 11. Yeah. We're actually capable of going a full season where you're going to have injuries and suspensions. That point you're making,
yeah. And I think that Barrow as well, they did well last season, missed out on playoffs, but they're aiming to get back up there again this year, and they're doing it. They've got some good players. Don Telford again, he scored last night for them, and if we beat them, I think that we're really in there.
I think we'll leave it there for now. We'll obviously cover in future editions where we think we're going to end up, and the next few games and stuff. But that's been a good start, and we'll look forward to the Wimbledon game and particularly the Barrow game. We can't forget about it. We need to focus on the Wimbledon game. The players certainly will, but I think our eyes are on Barrow, aren't we? When they get up there and give them a scene too on the pitch. So thanks for that. If you've enjoyed it, like I said, do subscribe, tune in again. We'll try and do this every week. Remember, it's by the fans, for the fans. So if you do want to get involved, get on the Facebook page, or are we doing other social media pages and stuff like that? Or are we just all Facebook? I don't know. We'll probably do them all because we've got young people here who know how to do all that sort of stuff. But get involved, and we're always open to people coming on the panel. It'll usually be me, I suppose, who's doing the interviews, and I can say it's fairly easy going, just a bit of a crack really. Hope you've enjoyed it. Up the shrimps.